ready to game. Let's check out this. Why Chris will soon be a nightmare for MrBeast.
Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel. In mid-2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing.
Wait, everyone is saying that this video is gonna trigger me.
In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude. Yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally, Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I quote look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any
He lost so much weight and he shaved his face.
resemblance?" Prompting replies such as "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously
That's so mean. You went from man to boy.
and eating better." Yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these are my nails. I love the nails. I love the shade, but this is more female than male nails.
With the same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now, this was pretty ridiculous as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before.
Oh, so Chris is bi? Okay, also I want to use my alt to let everyone know that I'm bisexual, and when I told a few people I did when I was 16, I got a lot of negative backlash from friends and family. Just know, if the people around you don't love and support you, we always will. I always say, family... you can choose a family and friends. Like you can even choose a second family. It's not the only family that you are born with. If they can't accept you for who you are, then, and if like they can't be happy for you, then you have to move on, because living in a place where you will never be accepted and trying to pretend that you are not who you are, it's a prison. It's not a life. Usually people kill themselves because of reasons like that.
Before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed
he has a wife and a kid?
to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading,
"For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated. We are finalizing things soon, but these things take time. We like to keep our personal lives private, which a lot of people don't understand because we share so much. But this is the only time I want to discuss it."
For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated, with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails. As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility—
This is the problem, you guys. Like, he is a public figure. He's putting his life out there, and of course there's a lot of people who are gonna judge him. If he was ready to get divorced and be separated from his own kid, imagine how important this transition was for him, how emotional it was for him. Do you think like he was just one day deciding, "Oh, you know what, I woke up today and I decided to be this person"? No, maybe he was actually pretending his whole life, and he thought, maybe now when I get married and become a father, I will embrace the manly in me. And then he realized that even that was not enough. You know, he tried. He at least tried real hard. And that doesn't take the fact that he still has a kid. You know, he can still be a father or a mother or whatever he wants, any title, like he's gonna be a person who loves his kid.
that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self.
Doesn't
He'd rather
change
do
that.
the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for
okay, HIT is produce physical changes in the body that are caused by female hormones.
changing genders. Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and MrBeast, who wrote,
Okay, MrBeast wrote, "Gotcha, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend."
"Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend."
That's nice.
While his
It's
co-workers
supportive.
expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to.
The kid is still a man. Even like there are so many kids who grew up without a father and they were still men, all right? You are born with it, or you maybe are not born with it, okay? He will still be a figure in his life.
Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you."
Yeah, exactly. The kid loves his own parent. He wants him there. The kid doesn't notice these things because he loves his dad.
And my
loves his
child will
parent.
only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker. Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria," yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash. "You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic."
Yeah, sure. He just woke up one day and decided to turn his life over, completely go through all of that so he can paint his nails. That's how selfish he was, all right? Yeah, probably that's the situation. It's not like life or death type of situation for this guy. It's not like deep depression for him.
He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone.
This is a bit harder, but the kids who are bullying him in school are learning from the parents. Isn't that the thing? So, as a parent, if you decide that it's all right to bully people who are different, then your kid is going to bully anyone who is different at school, you know? It's on the parents, how you raise your child. I was bullied as a person because in Bosnia and Herzegovina, when I was going to school elementary, I was bullied because I'm half Arab and I didn't know the language very well and I was bullied. So I guess the parents taught their kids that it's okay to bully anyone who is different. That's all. Like, that's all it takes.
Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from MrBeast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. MrBeast responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life." In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company. Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my God, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
What is that uncomfortable? The guy just looked at the picture and smiled. Oh my God, he made him so uncomfortable. Oh gee.
Oh my God, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another
Listen, let's be honest. Whoa! Finish the video. It's almost the end of the video. Is it though? Did I just skip the video? Okay. So let's be honest. It is hard for people who are around the person who is transitioning to accept that in a way that how to behave towards a person who is changing, you know, because they are still learning how to behave and how to make him feel comfortable, but also how they can be comfortable being with him and not feeling awkward or not saying something very sensitive. So it's hard for both of them. And I think if you are honest and you are open-minded and you can talk about it, they can sit down and talk about this situation. And the more they hang out with each other, the more they're going to be used to it. Because let's be honest, when you are used in a way to talk to a person for years and address them a specific name or a specific gender, then it's so hard for you to actually change that. Like, you can't just change it in one day. As long as we are patient towards each other and we are careful and we take it easy and we are apologetic, you know, I think that's it. Like, of course, it might look a bit awkward right now because they still are learning, but they accepted him. He's there. He's in the middle of it all, you know. They accepted him and they are supporting him. That's the best that they can show. They showed for him and they are ready to learn.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism. Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really—
Let's be honest, a big problem for people like addressing it's because what he is wearing. Like, that shirt is not that appealing to whoever, even if it was like someone who already transitioned 100%. That doesn't, like, the look doesn't look cool, all right? Like, he needs to dress up a bit better and take it easy with the transition, not go wild immediately. People are like still not used to it.
Believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time.
Yeah, they will slowly
but
adapt.
Is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place? Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos. MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy
And
way.
why do they, like, it's Chris's life and all he's talking about how this is beneficial or not to MrBeast and his career? Do people think that everything in MrBeast's life is around his career and around his money? No. He over and over and over again showed you that he doesn't care about money, that he has way more important things to deal with. and to live for.
So
you're a Keemstar.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If he don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing the drama.
Dude, people don't watch MrBeast for MrBeast. I didn't even know MrBeast's name is Jimmy, is it? I don't even know that. They watch a lot of people who are watching MrBeast videos, they watch it for the content, you guys, not for the personality. Not what. Do you know a thing or two that MrBeast, what is his favorite color and what is his favorite food? How many people do you think know that about MrBeast? You know, like, we watch it for the content that he is creating. This is not going to change anything.
It deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast.
Boo-hoo. As if he cares, man. He's getting so many views and he doesn't care if people can't and won't deal with it and they're gonna move on. He's creating content for his audience, and if his audience changes, which is a normal thing, a natural thing for YouTube, so what?
Videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance,
doesn't matter who leaves the group when it comes to these videos, it will always come back with a backlash, because people always like to assume the worst. You know, they're like, oh, he left, it must be something bad that happened. It's like people can't just decide one day that they don't want to do something and they want to do something else. Maybe he just decides one day he doesn't want to make videos anymore and he want to be a more private person, or he has another career or a different path or a different hobby that is working for him and he want to make it a job. Like, why is that?
Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Drama. Honestly, we create drama by talking about it. Oh, you laugh, you lose. Friendship Day edition. Wait. My thumbnail is wrong. It says you laugh, you lose. Friendship Day edition. And it got 27 views. It's got 27 views and this is the thumbnail. And I just noticed it. It's been 2 years. 2 years, guys.